Hi everyone. Last class we have discussed so many concepts regarding Model 1 and Model 2. In Model 2, you have discussed regarding different types of addressing modes and instruction sets and how to run the programs. So all I have discussed in last class. Today we will concentrate some important concepts of in second unit. There the important concept is data types and directives. Here you can see that 8051 data types and directives. The 8051 microcontroller has only one data type, it is 8 bits, and the size of each register is also 8 bits, and it is job of programmer to break down the data larger than 8 bits, that is 0 to FFH or 0 to 255 in decimal to be processed by CPU. Okay, here the data type is nothing but the which of data you are storing in the registers. Okay, and here you can see that there is one data type, as I told, it's the register size 8 bits, and it store the data, the 8-bit data, and the data if it is more larger than 255, that's unable to store into the register. Next we'll concentrate directives. This is important questions as per the exam point of view. You can see that you have different directives. First one, define byte, and in define byte it's mainly used data directive in assembler. It is used to define 8-bit data. When a DB is used to define a data, the numbers can be in decimal, binary, hex or ASCII formats. You can store the numbers of different types. You can define using this directive DB. No need to store any numbers in any register. It can save the memories. Just you can use the keyword DB, and there you have to mention the number. If you want to store the number, or if you want to declare the number with decimal, you have to use word D, or you can use B for binary, H for hexadecimal. It's are required. Next, by using that one, you can define ASCII strings which is larger than 2 characters. So it is should be used for all ASCII data definitions. Next, ORG, that is origin, you can say. It's a directive to indicate the starting of the program, beginning of the program address. It gives the address of the beginning of your program. It's just like a main, wide main, like in C. The number that comes after the ORG can be either in hex or decimal formats. If number is not followed by H, and it is a decimal. If are not mentioned H, it treated as a decimal. Assembler will convert into hex. Next it will start execute. Some assembler will use .org, okay, instead of org for the origin directive. Next, equate, equal. If I want to assign some variables to a particular numbers, like you can see that here, this is to define a constant without occupying a memory location. EQ directive does not set aside storage for the data item, but associates a constant value with a data label. So when the label appears in the program, a constant value will be substituted for the label. For example, when executing instruction move R3, count, the register R3 is loaded with the value which is stored into the count. Now count is equate for the 25. If return count EQ 23, in place of count, the value which is stored in count, that is going to store into the R3. So you can declare the constant values. You can use repeatedly in your programs. It makes easy to save the program again. End directives, again it's another assembly directives. It is important pseudocode end directive. It indicates to terminate the end of your program. That means that your program is going to end. After end, it will not execute any other instructions. This is the instruction format which has main parts of your instruction, that is mnemonics, destination operand, source operand. Mnemonics means what operation has to be done by, or which is the operation has to be done by CPU. What to do CPU with the destination operand and source operand. The information given by mnemonics. Destination operand, the place where your data should be stored. Source operand, from where you have taken your source. So operand is a data. It is a one data address. It specify the destination for the data being copied from the source. Also it gives source address. So both destination operand and source operand must be separated by comma. It should be comma. You can see the below to understand. First instruction set is data transfer instruction set, which is you have discussed in last class different types of instruction sets. The first one, data transfer instructions. Here you can use move is a mnemonics. That means you are going to transfer the data. It is going to tell to the CPU you are transferring the data from here, from source byte to destination byte. Example, move direct a, move a comma at ri, move a comma rn, move direct comma direct, move a comma hash data. You have 5 different addressing modes. So use any one addressing modes and utilize it in our program and execute the programs. You can write different instructions to execute your program as per your logic. Here they have written move direct a comma contents of a is going to store in direct address. Which one you are written in the instruction. Like that remaining instructions you can read. For example, move 30h comma a, the contents of accumulator is going to store into the 30h address. Next I have written move a comma at r0. The meaning of that one is moves the content of memory pointed by at r0 into a. Here with at symbol only 2 registers is going to work, at r0, at r1. Next move a comma r1, it's a register addressing modes. Moves the content of register r1 to the accumulator a. Next move 20h comma 30h, it is direct addressing mode. In both places you have the direct address. Moves the content of memory location 30h to 20h. Next move a comma hash 45h, it's a immediate addressing modes. It moves directly 45h hexadecimal number into the accumulator. So general format of instruction for data transfer instruction is move, after that one space, destination bit comma source bit. It is going to move the bits, not a bytes. You can store the bits from source to destination. Example, move p1 comma 3 comma c, moves the carry bit into third bit of port 1. Like that you have to constant move dptr comma hash data 16, it is load data pointer with 16-bit constant. Description is given. Like this you have to explain in the exams. They are going to ask explain data transfer instructions. You can explain according to the marks they have given for that question. If they are given 10 marks, you have to explain at least 5 instructions which are related to the data transfer instructions. If they are given 5 marks, you have to explain one instruction completely and you have to give some 4 to 5 examples. Description you have to explain. Next you have to explain function, like this. Now you can go for arithmetic group of instructions. You can see that second type of instructions. Here you can see that different arithmetic operations is going to done by using the arithmetic group of instructions. First is add a comma source byte. By seeing this general format, always in destination place you have to use the accumulator. For doing any arithmetic operations you have to use the accumulator in destination place. That's why they are given add a comma source byte. It is going to perform the add operation. The add operation is going to happen between accumulator and source byte, and result is again going to store into the accumulator. Here different flags is going to affected in all arithmetic group of instructions. That's why you are given here overflow. If there is a carry out from the bit 7, but not bit 6, otherwise overflow is going to clear and you will get different carry from the last bit of your D7th bit of number. Here you can see that add a comma r naught, that is it is going to add content of accumulator and register r naught, and result is going to store into the accumulator. Like that, again add comma direct, instead of taking the data from register you can take it from the directly address if you know the address, or else add a comma at ri. Again you can use another method of to add the numbers, it is by using the indirect addressing modes. This is next type of arithmetic instruction is addc a comma source byte. Here addition is going to happen with carry. After addition of accumulator and source byte, finally contents of carry bit is going to add with the accumulator. Finally result is going to store into the accumulator. The description is given. ADDC simultaneously adds the byte variable is indicated. The carry flag and the accumulator contents leaving the result into the accumulator. The carry and auxiliary carry flags are set respectively. So you have to read all these things. I already explained all the instructions in details, so you read all the instructions carefully. This is only exam point of view. I am glancing all the important concept once again, so read thoroughly all and try to solve main instruction sets, and if you get any queries get back to me. Like this, again you have different set of instructions. After addition you have subtraction. For subtraction you have to use a mnemonics is SUBB. Don't write only B, you have to write 2B SUBB a comma source byte, subtract with borrow. Okay, here again flags is going to affect, and here I have made a table. You can go through the table, will understand how flags are going to affect, which are flags and how many bytes size, opcode and instructions. I have listed all the subtraction instructions, and for all arithmetic operations, carry, auxiliary carry, overflow, these are the flags is going to affect. I have given all instructions here, and after that multiplication. So multiplication it is going to use the mul is the instruction. Immediately you have to write a and b, don't separate out, you have to write both in without having the comma between a and b, and here only a and b register used for multiplication. Don't write any other instructions except mul ab. It is going to multiply unsigned 8-bit integer in the accumulator register b. Lower order of the 16-bit product left in the accumulator, higher order byte is present in the B register. In exam they are going to ask explain mul AB. You have to give this description. If product is greater than 225, overflow flag is set, otherwise it is cleared, means 0. Here next I have given an example with number and how flag is going to set, how carry is cleared. Next same as division AP, again they are going to use A and B register. Don't write any comma between A and B, continuously you have to write. Div means divide, it is going to divide contents of A and B, A divided by B. 8-bit integer accumulator by the unsigned 8-bit integer in the register B. Accumulator receives integer part of quotient. The quotient will be stored where? It is in accumulator. Register B receives integer remainder. The remainder value is present in the B register. So exception is if B is had originally contained 0, the value returned in the accumulator and B register is undefined. The overflow flag are set because A divided by B. If B is 0, you will get infinity. Any value divided by 0 is infinity. So overflow flag are going to set. Carry flag cleared, it becomes 0. Again I explain with a 0. Example, you can see the example and how it is going to set. Next very important instruction is in exam they are going to ask, this is the instruction, carefully read this one. The instruction decimal adjust accumulator for the addition. So you go through this descriptions. Mainly it is used to convert your value, the hexadecimal value, into the packed BCD formats. If value is greater than 9, that means if you get the values in decimal hexadecimal format, so it is going to convert it into packed BCD format. So it produce, you can see here the DA adjusts 8-bit value in the accumulator resulting from the earlier addition of two variables producing two 4-bit digits. I have told you with the one table, okay, or you can see this description and understand. Any ADD or ADDC instruction may have been used to perform the addition if accumulator bits 3 through 0 are greater than 9. Okay, lower order if greater than 9, or auxiliary carry flag is 1, or auxiliary carry means D3 to D4 bit is 1, or else the lower 4 bit result. Okay, if it is greater than 9, the 6 is added to the accumulator to get the proper BCD. This is known as lower order nibble. It is happens in lower order nibble. The same thing is going to happen in higher order nibble if result of higher order nibble is greater than 9, or if there is a carry. Okay, lower order nibble they are going to consider auxiliary carry, so higher order nibble they are going to consider carry flag. If any one case is true, either result is greater than 9 or if there is a carry flag is 1, okay, in that case it is going to add 6. So with this it is going to give the proper BCD result in higher order nibble. By using these two techniques, okay, your die instruction converts your hexadecimal result into the decimal packed BCD format. Next, swap A is same thing. It is swap the nibbles within the accumulator. After data present in the accumulator, the lower nibble value store into the higher nibble value store into the lower nibble value. That is I had told here. It is swap the nibbles of accumulator. Next, XH A comma byte. It is exchange between the two value. Okay, two variables. Exchange loads XH A comma byte means the contents of accumulator exchange with the byte location contents, and byte location contents exchange with the accumulator content. That is, you can see here example. Okay, next, XCHDE comma at RI. It is very important. Okay, exchange digit. Okay, here exchange D digit, exchange digit, D means digit, exchange the lower order nibble of the accumulator bits 3 through 0 generally represent the hexadecimal or BCD digit. Okay, with that of internal RAM location indirectly addressed by specific register. Higher order nibbles of each register not affected, no flags affected. That means here only changes lower nibbles of two register. Suppose here you are written XHD A comma at R0. Okay, XH A comma at R0 you can write in place of RI, R0 or R1. In A register lower nibble number, okay, that is exchanged with lower nibble number of RI contents. You can see here R0 contains address 20H, accumulator holds the value 36. Okay, internal RAM location 20H holds the 75. In accumulator number is 36. In 20H location contains 75. 20H location pointed by the register R0. Okay, now after executing XHD A comma at R0, it is going to exchange the contents of 20H and accumulator. In place of 5 we'll get the number 6 from the accumulator. 6 is exchanged with 5. In place of 6, 36, we get a 35. In place of 75, we get a 76. Here number is 6 and 5 is going to exchange. 3 and 7 will be same. Okay, now next, complement. That is, it is going to complement the accumulator contents. The ones become 0, 0 becomes 1. Complement bit, single bit. If our bit is 1, it becomes 0, or if it is 1, it becomes 1. Okay, decrement byte. It is decremented by always 1. Same thing, increment INC byte. It is incremented by always 1. Now we'll go for NOP, that is no operations. It will not do, simply it continues the execution of your instruction, other than it affects only PC, that is program counter. No other register flags are going to affect it. Next, logical instructions. I have listed all the logical instructions, mainly and instruction denoted by ANL. Next, you have after and you have OR, logical OR instructions. Next, you have NOT operation, that is complement. Next, you have XOR operations, XRL. I have listed again with the table. You go through the table. Finally, you have rotate instructions. In rotate instruction, mainly you have 4 types: rotate left through accumulator, rotate left throw carry accumulator contents, rotate right throw carry, and you have rotate right. Like this, you have 4 instructions. After that, finally jump instructions. In jump instruction, you can see that unconditional branch instructions are listed all here: AJMP, and absolute jump, long jump LJMP, and short jump SJMP. These are the main unconditional jump instruction. Next, conditional jump instructions are, I have again listed all conditional jump instructions: DJNZ, CJNE, and finally call instructions: long call and absolute call, return instruction, RET, return from the interrupt. These 2 instructions very important. Okay, we will go through these 2 RET and RET instructions. Now we'll go for model 3. The model 3 is mainly related to the embedded C. It's an important part of embedded C. The model 3 is why we need to write the program, advantages of programming in C and disadvantages of programming in C, and you'll see the different data types. You have the table here. You can go through this table. You'll understand different data types: unsigned char, unsigned int, s bit, SFR. These are main data types you can see in the embedded C. Before seeing the data types, you can see first why you need to write the program in C. Instead of writing the program in assembly language, by writing the program in C, it's very easier and less time consuming, okay, compared to assembly level language, and it is easier to modify and update. You can see here, first introduction part, I have given all these things, and I have written here what is disadvantage to write the program in embedded C. The hex file is going to generated by the programming C. It's more always compared to assembly level language programming. That's the only disadvantage of embedded C. Other than, you have more advantages to write the program in embedded C. And finally, C code is portable to other microcontroller with little number of modifications. Okay, the main advantages. And one disadvantage is microcontroller have limited on-chip ROM. The code space for 8051 limited to 64 kilobytes, but compiler produce more hex files that is downloaded to the ROM of microcontroller. So this is the main concern you have to give. Okay, main size of the hex file is main concern. Other than remaining are advantages. It is easier, less time consuming to write the program in C than the assembly. C is easier to modify and update. We can use code available in function library. These all are advantages.